All I ever want to read are romance books. I just can't help it. I love them. Hey, welcome back. So I just want to go through some new romance book releases that are coming out over the next few months. And I'm excited about them, and I'm probably going to be doing like some spoiler talks on them just because I'm excited. So I've narrowed this video down to 5 upcoming books that are coming out now through June. I feel like if I didn't narrow it down, I'd just be sitting here all day. But if there are any upcoming releases that you're excited about that I don't mention, tell me about them in the comments below. And then before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe if you want more book videos. So for the first book, it's coming out really soon. Like when this video is posted, the book will be out tomorrow on 4/18. So it's Part of Your World by Ali Jimenez. I have read her books before, specifically the Friend Zone and the Happy Ever After playlist. There's part of this like sort of series where like, you know, in like this book, we see a side character and then they're the main character of like the next book. And so I read the Happy Ever After playlist first, which is the second book in the series technically. But I really liked that one, and it had me like all sorts of emotional, and like I was crying a lot during it, and I thought it was really good. And then I read The Friend Zone, which I thought was good, but like not as good as the second one. And it was just kind of like, oh, okay. And then I started to read the third one in that series, Life's Too Short, and I couldn't do it. I really didn't like that one. I just kind of felt like it was like a little cringy, and like it had like the whole baby trope, and like I don't like books with babies in them. So for me, it was like a complete like no-go. Like I just didn't like that one. So since I'm kind of like all over the place with her books, like I have just like this big varying degree of like either really liking it or thinking it's okay or being like, nah, not for me. Like I'm looking forward to this new book, Part of Your World. I think we're breaking away from like that series, and this book is like talking about like has all these new characters. So for this one, it's a reverse age gap book. So we have like our main female lead, Alexis, and she's 10 years older than the love interest, Daniel. She's an ER doctor and he's a carpenter. She's from the big city and he's from this like small town. So it's like this like kind of opposites attract like kind of thing going on. And like the question being like, can they be a part of each other's worlds? Like, get it? Because it's called A Part of Your World. But anyway, I love the premise and I think it's going to be good. I hope, fingers crossed. And so I'm really excited to read this one because we're kind of breaking away, and I'm curious to see like where it's going to fall in terms of me like either like really liking it or kind of being like, oh, this isn't for me. Just because like for some authors, you know, like books are like, oh, I love pretty much everything that they write. And for her, like it's kind of been all over the place. So we'll see. So then on May 3rd, I am dying for Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Good old Emily Henry, my girl. Like I am just so excited. I loved Beach Read and I loved People We Meet on Vacation, especially that one. I liked that one more than I liked Beach Read, but I'm just so excited that she has another book coming out. I just feel like her books have like this great mixture of like me wanting the main characters to just kiss already, but then I feel like the characters also have like depth and they're working through like other things besides just focusing on like the whole relationship. Like they have their own personal things going on that they're sorting through. So since those 2 books were like complete winners for me, I hope that Book Lovers will also be a winner. But like I barely even knew what it was going to be about. Like I had to look up the premise of it for this video because I just didn't care what it was about. I knew it was coming out and I automatically was just kind of like, I'm going to read it. It's an Emily Henry book. Of course I'm going to read it and I'm sure I'm going to like it. But I did look it up for the sake of this video. So it's about Nora and Charlie, and they're both in like the book industry. And she said it's like a book about books, so that's kind of cool. And they both happen to be in like this small town for the summer, and it's like this close proximity, which I love. And then it's enemies to lovers, which I also love. And then like Charlie, the main male character, is like the brooding, like grumpy type, which I also really like. And like, so like reading through the blurb for it, it reminded me like of Beach Read a lot. Like it kind of gave me like the similar vibes, like kind of like enemies to lovers, and like they're in the same like beachy kind of like town for a certain amount of time, and they're like close and they keep running into each other. So it reminded me a lot of Beach Read, which I'm happy about. I'm curious to see how similar it will be to Beach Read. Like, I don't know, I feel like if you get kind of like a different varying story with the same types of characters from Beach Read, like I'm gonna be okay with that, and I'm gonna be very happy with that. But yeah, I mean, it's an Emily Henry book, and like those two books are very like kind of comforting to me, and like I really enjoy reading them. And so I am just really hoping that Book Lovers is the same. I have the same like love for it. I'm just so excited. Okay, and the next is coming out in June, and it's My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. So this one won me over. I kind of just like stumbled upon it, but it won me over because there was this part in the book description blurb that made me like burst out laughing. So it's all about like this main character. She's going on vacation with her brother, and they get to the vacation rental where they're staying, and they find a dead body in there. And so enter our like main male lead, who's a bounty hunter who is coming in to solve the crime. Although I'm not, or to catch the killer, but I assume solve the crime. But I don't really know why the bounty hunter would be doing the crime solving. Like that's not what they do. But anyway, I laughed at the blurb when she said, "Now a crude, rude bounty hunter has arrived on the back of his motorcycle to catch the killer, and refuses to believe that I can be helpful despite countless hours of true crime podcast listening." And I was just like, okay, why is that me? Like thinking that like I know all about solving these murders just because I watch true crime YouTube channels. Like I felt that on a personal level. And so I was kind of like, okay, this seems like it's going to be interesting and funny. So I like that it kind of has like this little bit of mystery, like trying to solve the murder, like mixed in with romance. And I feel like with Tessa Bailey's books, they're usually like carefree and light and like just like a fun read. And I'm definitely looking for something like light and carefree and fun. So I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, so I'm going to end it with two novellas that are coming out by Ali Hazelwood. I'm all for this. I love The Love Hypothesis. I feel like I've mentioned that a million times before in the past that I'm like, oh, I love that book. And so when I saw that she was like releasing a lot coming up, I was super excited. So there's like this new series that she's doing where like the main characters of these books are friends, and we get to see like each of their love stories. And there's like 4 coming out, like one a month, like until August, like starting in May. So in May and June, both of these upcoming novellas are actually already out on audiobook. But I don't really like listening to romance books on audiobook. I find it I just don't really like it. I like to physically read it. I don't really like someone reading it to me. I think it's sometimes can come off like a little cringy. So I'm waiting for the ebooks. So on May 3rd, we have Under One Roof. This one is a close proximity one, which I said before, I love when they're forced together. So the two main characters are both living in this house where they have like, I think split inheritance of it, which made me think of the book Twice Shy, by Sarah Hogel, which that one was good. Check that one out if you haven't read that one. That one was pretty good. And then on June 7th, we have Stuck With You, which is also a close proximity one, but like even more close stuck together because the two main characters are stuck in an elevator together during the book, and they're exes, and like I'm just curious to see how that ends up going for them. But I do have to say I'm a little nervous for these two so far. I feel like people who have listened to the audio, like I've read some reviews on Goodreads about it, and people seem a little mixed in regards to whether or not they're liking it or not liking it. So I really, really hope that I like them. I usually don't read novellas or kind of try to stay away from them just because like I feel like I need a lot of time to get emotionally invested in these characters to like really be into the love story and to like want them to be together so badly. But I'm just really curious to see how I feel about the novellas, like their stories kind of being like moved along quickly versus like giving us like 300 pages of like me wanting them to be together versus like, you know, like less than 200 or something. So I'm kind of curious to see how that goes. I'm really hoping that the Love Hypothesis isn't like the top of me like just liking what she does, and that like these are also super good. But I mean, more to come on that after I read them. I'm sure I'll do a video saying how I feel. So there are the 5 that I'm excited but kind of anxious for. I'm hoping that they're good. I'm needing some good new like romance books to fall in love with. So I'm excited. As always, thanks for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye!